Hey, everybody, Guy here from Chit Chat. Thank you so much for continuing to listen to the podcast. I just got done recording a really fun episode with my friend Ben. I got to know Ben at church. Ben is an international student from Rwanda, but you'll hear a little bit more about him in a second. I've got to know Ben over this last year, and I think that he's just a really, really special young guy. Really, really thankful to have gotten to know him. And because of conversations with him, I know a lot more about what's happening in Rwanda and Burundi, a neighboring country to where he is. And just, I love learning. I love learning about people and about places and different cultures. And Ben has been gracious to share with me about where he's from and about who his family is. And I think the world of Ben, and I'm excited for you guys to just get to know him a little bit here on the podcast now. So thanks again for continuing to listen. And excited for you to get to know my friend Ben. Ben, thanks for coming to join us on the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
All right. So, Ben, in a second, I'm going to have you introduce yourself, but this is my friend Ben. I got to know Ben at church. Ben's a student here at St. Cloud State, and I've just absolutely loved getting to know Ben. Ben represents a really cool part of our community here in St. Cloud. He's an international student. He'll tell you more about that, but I'm really excited to have Ben on today. I think that he's just a really wonderful young man, and I've enjoyed getting to know him. So, Ben, thank you for coming and joining us on the podcast. Really appreciate it. Maybe would you just tell us a little bit, tell us who you are, and tell us where you're from. How'd you end up at St. Cloud State? What are you studying? Just give us a little rundown.
My name is Ben. I go by Ben, but my full
name. My name is Ben, and I go by Ben. This is good.
My full name is Benjamin, not Ben. But yeah, Mugabe Benjamin Misingo is my actual name, and I come from Rwanda, beautiful Kigali. Got Kigali on. Yeah. And yeah, I moved here 2021, August, for college. I'm a software engineering major. I'm in my fourth year now, and yeah, I'm enjoying that.
From Rwanda, how did you end up at St. Cloud State? I always think that's so fascinating. I mean, I don't even know how many thousands or tens of thousands of universities there are in the States. How did you end up at St. Cloud State?
I moved here because my family was here. It was just easier to transition to, from Rwanda to, a community of Rwandans. And yeah, it's definitely harder to move to the U.S. and then find yourself alone. So I was like, it's easier. I'll do the easy stuff.
Got it. Say your major one more time.
Software engineering.
Yeah. And you're almost done, or you're knocking on the door of being done. And what do you think you want to do with software engineering?
I want to deal with data. So I'm hoping to be like a data engineer, deal with databases and all that. So yeah, I'm hopefully gonna get a job after I graduate and then do my master's, and then head back home.
And can you do your master's here at St. Cloud State, or would you be looking at going somewhere else for school?
I might, but I'm thinking of doing it somewhere else.
Yeah,
just change of scenery. Sometimes it's good.
Yeah, we'd be sad.
It might also be cheaper, that place I'm thinking about. So
we'd be sad about that, but totally get it. Okay, so Ben, I mean, when I first started to get to know you, I thought, man, it'd be so fun to have you on the podcast. I just think you're a bright young dude, and I think that the perspective of international student here in our community is super, super, super fascinating. From an outsider's perspective, coming in a few years ago, what was it like moving to central Minnesota?
It was definitely very interesting. It's different. First of all, weather, very different, very drastic change.
Although coming here in August.
Yeah, August was good.
It's great.
It was perfect. If there's ever a perfect Minnesota weather, that was probably it, or spring, one of the two. But yeah, so it was definitely interesting to move here, with the weather being different, with the people being different. I mean, it's Kigali, Rwanda is, or I want to say generally Africa is more like community based, and then here you're just individual, do your stuff, and so it's definitely a challenge for me. I mean, I had cousins and of course my sister and friends from church, but it was definitely you have to do things on your own, which is the hard part for me.
What kinds of things do you find yourself needing to do on your own here that you didn't need to do on your own at home?
It's hard to explain, but it's everything.
Okay.
It's even the support you have at school or at church, I mean, it's definitely better now that, I got to know more people at church, but it's very possible for someone to just go to church, not see anyone, like not talk to anyone.
Slip through the cracks.
Yeah. And go to school, not make any friends. But it's definitely different back in Rwanda. It's, it's just community based. I don't know how to explain it, put it into words, but there's definitely like everyday stuff that you see. And I mean, I met people here that were willing to help with some of the smaller stuff too, that maybe some of my other, I'm talking about my friends from Rwanda and Burundi, they were more helpful than people from Minnesota at first, But now it's, I've got to make friends like you, like so many others that, are willing to help. But before it was definitely like, oh, I have to figure stuff out on my own. Like it's part of growing up, but it's definitely easier when, you have people around you,
A
support
big
system.
support
Yeah.
system. All right. So as a community here in St. Cloud, what's something that we could do, maybe like a practical or tangible thing that we could do to help make that transition smoother and better?
I feel like the simple stuff, like when someone moves here, they don't know their way around to like grocery stores is a big thing for me, right? Like someone doesn't know where to get the simple stuff, like talk about soap, talk about food, talk about anything. They don't know where to get that, or maybe they're not even able to afford that, and maybe you are, and maybe I am, and so it's definitely easier to like help with that small stuff when someone moves here. Like, okay, so this is how I do this, or even like, how do you take the bus to Walmart? How do you take the bus to school? They don't necessarily have to figure everything out, by like the hard way.
As you've been 4 years now, kind of getting
close to 4.
Yeah,
August 21.
Oh yeah, August. As you've gotten plugged in, what are some of the things that you think are maybe some of the strongest things about the Central Minnesota community?
The Minnesota nice thing, like
is
as
a
much,
good thing.
Yeah, is a very good thing.
Really?
I mean, I feel like it might be the surface level for some people, but even that is definitely better than what, at least like traveling to other states or like hearing other people's like friends who are maybe like California or like, where's that guy? I forgot. But yeah, just places that are different, that people are not as nice as, like whether it's like with traffic or with like in the grocery store, like people are mean, but like here, people are definitely nicer and they smile at you sometimes. Yeah, I don't know. So definitely double down on that, Minnesota. Maybe it's just because church people. I don't know. I feel like I interact more with church people, but it's something they could double down on.
It's so interesting. If you're from if you're from Central Minnesota, if you're from this community originally, usually you talk about, or the conversations around Minnesota Nice are kind of pejorative or negative. They're not really a positive thing, because sometimes it comes with this tone of like, it's not actually real.
Like it's just surface level?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I get, there is even some version of that. Even if it is just on the surface, there is like being pleasant in a community there is value. There is some kind of value to that. That's super interesting. I think one thing that's interesting, just as I've gotten to know you, in a short amount of time, you've only been in the States for, not even 4 years, but the amount of different states and communities and people, like you travel a lot. And
I try to.
I think that's awesome. I think that's what college is for, right? Like
experience all this stuff.
Take all these opportunities and just suck all of the marrow out of that, and just like make sure that you kind of like get everything that you can out of it. I think that's so good. And this past Christmas, you were bouncing around so much and visiting family and friends and seeing all that stuff. I think it's so cool. I'm glad you.
Spring break is coming up too, so I'm thinking.
Yeah, and where are you going?
Dallas probably.
Okay,
Dallas.
Nice.
And we might be driving, so we'll probably see Missouri, maybe Kansas City, maybe.
Yeah. Cool.
And maybe Oklahoma. I'm not sure. Just haven't decided. Haven't planned it out yet.
Yeah, it's so funny. Because the US is so big, just geographically it's so big. From Seattle, where I know you've been, and Florida, where you've been, and Texas, where you've been. Like those communities are just so drastically different. And then what's happened, like in the Northeast and Boston and New York. Have you been out east?
I'll probably go there though. Yeah. I haven't.
Yeah. They're just drastically different. I just got back from California, and again, just how drastically different. So I'm happy. I'm glad that you have been able to experience so much of it already. And yeah, I think that's a super cool thing.
I love traveling.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully I can do more as I grow. But yeah.
Story is the driving force for us here at Switchboard. Story is also the reason that Chit Chat exists. We tell stories of the people around us through photos, videos, branding, and websites. Story helps us find meaning and it draws a community together. And we would love to help tell your story. You can find us at www.switchboard.mn. We would love to meet you. We'd love to talk with you and learn more about the story that you are trying to tell and how our story-driven marketing tools can help you communicate better. Can't wait to talk to you soon. Okay, so at St. Cloud State, there's a pretty large international student population from Burundi and from Rwanda.
Yeah.
And in large part because there are people here.
Yeah.
And so more people
It's
come
easier.
because there are communities here, which I think is absolutely fascinating and so cool. Would you maybe just, I think there's a lot of us who maybe don't know a lot about Burundi and your little slice of the world. And so would you just maybe tell us a little bit about home, tell us a bit about your culture and your country and where you're from? Yeah, just like teach us a little bit.
Yeah, so it's a very long history, but I'm from Rwanda, and we speak the same language as Burundians, and most of us a lot of Burundians and Rwandans went to the same schools in Rwanda.
And so, hold on, real quick. Burundi, I mean, it's next to Rwanda.
Yeah.
And so, like, from where you grew up, like, how close to the Burundi border? How close were you?
Rwanda is really small. So, like, if you're talking in U.S. context of size, then it's pretty close. It's probably like 2 hours driving to the border.
Okay. Do you have any idea the size of Rwanda is up? I mean, this is the thing that we do here in the States. But
Yeah.
Do you have any idea what state it's
I
similar
think
to?
I think they looked it up. Maybe Vermont.
Okay.
Might be Vermont.
So really small.
Yeah, it's I think in kilometers squared it's 26,300
All right.
something.
Okay.
We used to study this stuff in school, so I knew the exact number. 26,338 kilometers squared.
Whoa. Get
I
it
think
then.
so. I might be wrong. But
Okay.
yeah, so that's I want to say I don't know how many miles squared.
Yeah.
I don't know. But yeah, so it's not big. It's definitely big like when you're there. It's I don't know how that works geographically, but like they tell you this country is small and you can't even like travel the entire country in a day. So but yeah, we're not our countries Burundi, Rwanda, were separated during colonialism, I want to say. Berlin Conference stuff, all that. A lot of history there. I don't necessarily understand. So Rwanda was kind of cut off from Burundi and parts of Congo, which is where you find some Congolese speaking Kinyarwanda, and parts of Uganda, which is where you also find Ugandans that speak Kinyarwanda and are called Rwandans, but are not actual Rwandans, and part of Tanzania in I want to say our east. Well, yeah, and that's also part of their people speak Kinyarwanda. So it's a lot of mixture here and there, a lot of movement with like the culture, right? There are a lot of nomads, is what they call them. Nomadic pastoralists is what they call them. And so they moved around a lot with their cattle. And so, yeah, there's a lot of mixture in there. Yeah.
And I mean, right now there's a lot going on in Rwanda.
There is.
And as your country and your home are walking through some challenging things, what's it like to be here? Your family's still there. So much of your heart is still there, but you are physically here in Minnesota.
Yeah.
What's that like? How do you kind of navigate some of that?
So a lot that's going on is in Eastern Congo, and a lot of that boils down from our history in Rwanda. In 1994, there was the genocide against the Tutsis, and then when the current government took over the previous government, I want to call it former government, their army fled to Congo, and they've kind of been planning out attacks and all that. And so part of that is, there's a lot of turmoil, like in between our countries. There's definitely a lot more history there that I probably don't have the time to go through. But yeah, so currently there's war going on in Eastern Congo, and if you look at the geography of it, Rwanda is tiny, and so part of our like cities like Gisenyi and Goma are like not even meters apart, and they're in two different countries. So war does spill over to Rwanda, and Bukavu and Rusizi, I want to say, they're also like meters apart. You can see the other city, and it's a different country. And yeah, so there's definitely a lot of turmoil, a lot of finger pointing to Rwanda being involved in the war there, and so there's definitely a lot of confusion for Rwandans, and a lot of confusion for me and some of the other Rwandans here in the U.S. So it's definitely interesting to walk through that. Talk to family. It's definitely okay where they are now, but yeah, it's just something that you have to think about and what that means for the future of Rwanda. And yeah, hopefully it doesn't spill over to any actual conflict, like violence, but yeah, it's a possibility.
Yeah. Sorry that your country and your people and you are, walking through some of that. Are there Congolese students at St. Cloud State?
They are. I have a couple friends that are Congolese.
And what's that like? As your countries back home are navigating challenging things, what's it like to be here and have friends that are from Congo? And do you guys talk about that?
I want to say we don't talk about that. Yeah. There's some conversations that we can have and some we can't really have. I think overall, a lot of my friends that go here that are Congolese are just students. They just want to learn. And, we all have families. We all have, we're just friends, and they're Christian too, and I'm Christian. So it's more of a Christ thing between us. But yeah, there's no conflict. And that's the thing you'll find with most, even like with Rwanda and Burundi, there's definitely conflict. Like if you talk about diplomacy, there's conflict there. Borders are closed and all that. Same for Congo. Borders were closed, but people just love each other. I mean, it's just up there. There's definitely something going on, but the people are just people. They're just citizens. They just want to live day to day. Yeah.
It's been so neat to like get to know you and hear your story. And I mean, I love learning about places in the world, and I didn't know a lot. I mean, I still don't know a lot, but from being friends with you, I've got to learn a lot more about Rwanda and Burundi and what's happening there. And so I appreciate that for sure.
Yeah.
One of the fun things that we've got to do with Ben, so Ben and a handful of his friends and some other fun international students that we've got to know have just started to we just have been able to do some really fun things together. And one of my favorite things that we got to do is Ben and a few others got to come and cut a Christmas tree.
Yes, I love that.
With my family. And I mean, cutting a Christmas tree, arguably it's my favorite day every year. I love Christmas. I love time with my family. I love all of the anticipation of getting ready for a holiday, all of that stuff wrapped into one big day where you actually get to go and get a Christmas tree. So in general, it's one of my favorite days. But this past year, it was by far my favorite day of 2024. Yeah. It was so much fun. So I love it. But getting to watch and experience someone cutting a Christmas tree for the first time, because you had never done that before. It was so much fun. It was such a blast to be there and to go on
it was such a blast for us too.
The hayride and all of that fun stuff. But it's been so fun to have you, with my family, and you're such a treat.
And coming over for laundry and the small stuff.
Yeah. Hey, that's a thing. Yeah. Sometimes people need laundry. Yeah. Sometimes people need to do laundry.
We're college students. We don't want to. It's $10 if you want to get quarters. So if you're saving on $10,
the gas to my house is less than $10.
Yeah, it is probably. I hope so.
It's
otherwise we're just making.
Yeah. But there's food. There's food at the laundromat at Sartell.
There's games. Yeah. So it's definitely different than just doing laundry. Yeah. Spending all that money.
Well, sweet. Ben, I'm really thankful just to get to know you and spend time with you. I think that you're, like I said, I think you're such a remarkable young guy. I'm excited to see what your life has and what you do with your work and how I think make impacts and changes in our world and for the kingdom too. So Ben, we close every podcast with what we call an unpaid ad. Is there someone, something, or some idea that you think deserves a little plug today?
I was thinking about it, and I think I'll plug the matcha at Kinder Coffee, just because that's the first place I ever tried matcha, and that was I keep going every week, which is not good for.
That's good.
Yeah, that's where my laundry money.
There
is
you go.
going now.
Good.
But
I'll keep
plug.
providing laundry then.
Yeah, I'll do matcha.
Yeah, the first time that Ben and I got together, we met at Kinder, and he's like, I don't drink any coffee, and I was like, okay, I got something for you. I got something for you to try that's not coffee.
It's so funny how like coffee and tea are like the biggest thing back home, like exports wise, but very few people actually drink coffee.
Really?
And so
Interesting. Maybe we'll have. I don't know if we have ever had a Rwandan coffee before. I think
I don't want to ruin the surprise, but
All right.
Yeah, let me just stop.
All right.
I was about to say something.
Okay. All right. My unpaid ad for the day is for an organization out of Ensenada, Mexico called Homes of Hope. James and I, a little while ago, we went on his first mission trip, which was so much fun. And in 3 days, we built 2 homes we built a home for 2 different families. The first family, really sweet mom and dad, and they have 4 kiddos, and the second one was a single mom with 2 boys, and they were each, living in a home that was hard with, leaky roofs, and one of them was a little camper. Anyway, just some challenging situations that each of those families were in, and we got to build them a house of their own, and that was unbelievably rewarding and so cool and so special. And it was so fun to do that with my boy, and I was hoping and praying that his world would be kind of enlarged, made bigger, that he would have a view of the world that is unique for a little guy, and that he would know and understand that the world is substantially bigger than just his little perspective here in St. Cloud. That was one of the things that was most valuable for me in my upbringing, and I want to make sure that my kids have that too. And so Homes of Hope was a really, really neat way to do that with him, and then we got to build some neat homes for some really awesome people. So that's what it would be. Ben, thanks again for coming on the podcast.
Thank you.
I really appreciate it, and finding some time in your busy school schedule. It means a lot.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thanks, brother.